Good afternoon. Thank you all very much for being here. This is the information session for our IT support with cybersecurity bootcamps that we are running in Leeds, in Bristol, and in Liverpool. That will start on January the 29th, 2024, which is crazy to think we are so close to a new year. My name is Bernard. I am one of the admissions managers with Generation UK and Ireland. And over the next hour and a half to 2 hours, I will introduce everything you need to know about Generation, how our bootcamps work, why we run our bootcamps and what the outcomes are, what a career could be like for you in IT support, and then potentially moving into cybersecurity in the future. And finally, how to apply to this bootcamp and what the deadlines are coming up between now and January the 29th. Also on the stream in the background, I'm just going to welcome my colleague to the call, Dan, who is one of our other operations managers. And he's in the background pretty much all of the time, answering emails and making sure that we are compliant with the Department of Education and all of our other work. You want to say hi, Dan?
Hey everyone, let me join Bernard in welcoming you to the session. Really appreciate you all coming. And yeah, like Bernard said, I'm part of the admissions team. I'm here always in the background, and we'll probably be interacting with a lot of you throughout your application process. Main thing to know is that if you ever need anything, I'll always be there to help you throughout the process, give you some guidance, or even just chat if that's what you need.
Cool. Thanks, Dan. Awesome. So this webinar is live. So if you have any questions whatsoever, we are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch right now. So whatever platform you're watching on, if you type anything into the comment section, we will be able to see it, and I will reply to them at different points during the stream. If you've got a question, pop it in the comment area and I will get to it, or if Dan is around, he can type back, because we'd love to hear from you. Any questions you have, please pop them in the chat. And as always, like with any form of social media, please be respectful and kind to each other. And if you know the answer to somebody's question, feel free to jump in yourselves. So thanks, Dan. Thanks for joining, and hope you have a good afternoon. So if you want to pop on the chat, what exactly, if anything, are you hoping to find out from today? That's also helpful for me to know, to make sure that I cover the correct information for what you're looking for today, whether that's what is the curriculum, what exactly are the qualifications you might get at the end of one of our bootcamps, maybe what are the steps from our bootcamp into employment that other people have found in their transition, or just what type of experiences do you pick up along the way, or what does a day in the classroom look like? So those are some of the things that I will cover, but if there's anything in particular that you want to know about, please pop it in the chat and I'll make sure that we get to it before we finish today. And thanks, Philip. I see your question about whether this session will be recorded to view later on. Yes, there will be a recording of the session and it will be shared with you. If you're watching this on YouTube, the same link will work, so you can just save the link and come back to it later, or I'll share a link that you can return back to later if you want to just go over the slides. So this is what we'll be doing today. First of all, I will introduce Generation as an organization, who we are, how we work, and what are the results that we get for the people who do our trainings. I will talk a little bit about what a career in IT support could look like. We'll be hearing from somebody who works in IT, a professional who works with Dunedin IT up in Scotland. And then finally, I will talk about this bootcamp in particular, so what the deadlines are coming up and what the application process looks like. So that's what we'll be doing today, and in total, it'll take us about an hour and a half or 2 hours to get through everything. So first of all, who are Generation? Who is this organization that you are signing up for to do a bootcamp with? So Generation was founded in 2015 with the goal of bridging the skills gap and getting as many people as possible into really good careers in the tech industry and other related industries, to give people a better chance of long-term and stable and sustainable career paths. Generation was founded first in the US, and as you can see, we've spread out across now to 18 different countries and have operations in 336 different cities. In the UK, we've been around for just over 4 years, and in Ireland, just over 3 years. We've just passed 100,000 learners graduating this past month across the world, which we are super proud about, and we are connected with over 3,000 employer partners. So how Generation works is that we were developed after a piece of research that a consultancy company did, that found, on one hand, especially after the global financial crash, there are lots of organizations and companies in the world that have particular roles for which they really struggle to hire for. And these are roles that require specific skills or technical competencies that the general public wouldn't have. So these roles could be, for example, data analytics, or certain jobs in healthcare, or in this instance, tech support or IT support. And on the other hand, there are lots of people in the world, in the UK, who are currently facing underemployment or unemployment, who are more than capable of doing these jobs, but they just lack the specific technical knowledge to fulfill these job roles. And so Generation was founded to bridge that gap. So we run skills boot camps, which upskill people who are currently facing unemployment or underemployment, to do these technical roles and give you the exact skills required to fulfill these job descriptions, and then help you to search for employment on the other end in these jobs. So this benefits the companies, who then don't have to do the training themselves or don't have to struggle to find really strong, competent people to do these roles. And we give people the vital skills that they need to get into sustainable and stable career paths. And our curriculums are designed to mimic and meet the job descriptions of the roles exactly. So our curriculums are developed in consultation with companies, with them telling us what exactly they're looking for in these roles, to make sure that we're relevant and that we're not teaching you anything that is superfluous, say. And this final stat on the screen on the bottom right is something we're really proud of, and it's true. And this is a UK specific statistic. So this isn't from across the world. This is just from our UK operations. And what the stat is that we survey our employers at like 3 months, 6 months, a year after they've taken on somebody from one of our programs. And the employers say that 84% of our graduates outperform their peers in productivity and quality outcomes. So what that means is that in 84% of cases, which is almost 9 out of 10 times, when a company hires somebody from us from one of our boot camps, they are outperforming their peers, so outperforming people that they've hired elsewhere. So for us, straight from uni or straight from other roles or straight from school, our graduates are outperforming those people because we are teaching you quickly and competently to fulfill the job descriptions that are out there for these roles. Here's a small example of the employers that we are working with across the UK and Ireland. And this bootcamp in particular, this IT support with cybersecurity bootcamp, we find that we are placing people into companies that are across pretty much every single sector in the market. So whether that could be the public sector, such as like Leeds City Council, or working for the government, through to the private sector. And it could be anything from, like, you can see a fashion retailer here, you can see a newspaper, you can see a bank, you can see a data company, because sometimes you'll be working for like a company like Dunas in IT that you'll hear from Neil later on, that specializes in IT work. But also there are lots of companies in every single sector that are large enough that they have their own IT department within their organization. So on this on this sheet, for example, you can see Gymshark, or you can see AIB, which is a bank. So getting into IT support really allows you to kind of choose your industry and not necessarily staying within tech-heavy companies, because every organization that is large enough will have their own IT function within them. So it really does make you a bit of a chameleon in terms of being able to get into the world of work, but not being stuck within any particular one sector. So across the UK and Ireland, we generally have 6 main areas of operation, 4 in England, being Manchester, the West Mids, Yorkshire and London, and then Scotland and the Republic of Ireland. However, for this bootcamp in particular, we have under a new contract from the Department for Education, this bootcamp is now open to learners in Bristol and Liverpool, and we're delighted that we can offer this service across a wider bit of the country and welcome learners from these 2 areas. Liverpool and Bristol, we've identified are really great tech hubs where the marketplace is growing really fast, and we are really well equipped to be able to help you find a tech role after upskilling in these services in these areas. And then we also have applications for this bootcamp open in the Yorkshire region, so Leeds City and environs. So what that means is that when you start on the bootcamp, if you're successful in getting a place, there will be learners in the classroom from Yorkshire, from Liverpool, and from Bristol, all in the one classroom with the instructor. All of the teaching will be online, so you don't need to travel. You'll be able to join from home, or if you don't have a study place at home, we can help to look at arranging an office space for you. And then you will join all of the lessons remotely. And then as you graduate and after you graduate, we will help you with job searching in your area. So your roles will be Yorkshire-based, Liverpool-based, or Bristol-based, depending on where you are living. So what is this program? This is a 9-week full-time interactive program where you'll gain the technical and the soft skills you need to become an IT support professional. There are kind of 2 reasons why we believe that short, full-time, intensive programs are the best way forward to help people get back into work quickly. The first reason is because there is a lot of content. If you think about one of our bootcamps being about the same amount of content as an A-level, but instead of it being spread over the academic year from September through June, we want to teach you and upskill you as quickly as possible. So instead of doing just 2-3 hours a week over the whole year, we have condensed it into 9 weeks full time. So the day starts at 9 and it finishes at 5 p.m. and you are expected to attend the majority of the sessions because they are live and they are interactive. The second reason that we believe that full-time interactive learning is the best way to upskill and get work ready is because a lot of people who have faced unemployment or underemployment, you may have a career gap in your CV, or you may have taken time out of work for whatever reason, whether somebody in your family was ill and you had a caring responsibility, or maybe you've had some kids, or maybe you've not just had the opportunity to work recently. And sometimes employers can be hesitant or nervous if somebody has a skills gap or a career gap on their CV. And we find that if you are able to show an employer that you've attended 98% of 9 weeks full-time program, they are then comfortable and confident that they can take you on full-time immediately because they know that you're more than capable recently to have completed full-time training. At the end of the program, so at the end of the 9 weeks, we will help you with your application to employers who are hiring close to you, whether that's in Liverpool, Leeds, or Bristol. And finally, we will prepare you and support you to interview for the roles. So just looking at the program application steps from now through to the program starting on Monday, the 29th of January. So applications are open. They've been open for about a fortnight now. And we really welcome you to start your application and continue it as quickly as possible. Interviews are starting this week. Group tasks and interviews they happen together. So it's a 1 hour session in total. That'll start with a group task and finish with an interview. And I will talk about what that looks like later on. They're starting this Thursday, the 7th, and they continue until next week, the 13th of December, which is next week, Wednesday. So you'll need to attend a group task and an interview sometime between this week, Thursday, and next week, Wednesday, the 13th. Then the final stage of the application is to have a chat with one of our mentors, just to check in to make sure that now is the best time for you to join a full-time bootcamp, and to make sure that we have the appropriate supports in place. If there's anything extra we can help you with while you're joining with us. And those are starting on the 18th of December, and they run through the 5th of January, and that's a one-to-one session, lasts about 20 minutes. Following that, we will collate all of the applications, and the learning manager and team will select the successful applicants, and the onboarding then will start from the 15th of January for 2 weeks before the program starts on Monday the 29th. I will go into each of these steps in more detail later in the presentation, but just to give you a quick overview, applications are now open. Please sign up for a group task and an interview as soon as possible, because there are only a limited number of spaces, and those are finishing next Wednesday. Then the mentor chats are happening over the end of year period through the 5th of January, with onboarding starting mid-January and the bootcamp starting on the 29th. It'll then last for 9 weeks, so through to about mid to end of March. And then we will move into the placement phase, which I will talk about in a minute after we look at the program curriculum. So what are the benefits for you for joining one of our programs? Our training is free. We are generously supported by the Department for Education and some private sector funding, for example, from Microsoft. And this allows us to provide this training to you free of charge. We will never ask you for any money, and we are here to support you to succeed in your career journey without asking you for anything except for your time and your full engagement. Your learning will be online, and it will be with a live instructor and a mentor assigned to support you throughout the whole process. And we'll hear from Jenny in a couple minutes about what that mentoring looks like. You'll have connections with employers as you are graduating. You'll hear from employers who have successfully hired from us in the past. And if any of them have any open positions, you will be invited to interview with them. And we will also support you with your own job applications and job self-searching as you graduate. If you are in need of laptop or internet access, so if you don't have a device that's strong enough to run full all the time every day on Zoom, or if your internet isn't good enough to have a stable connection, we can help to loan you a refurbished device for the duration of the period that you're with us. So we have some second-hand laptops which are strong enough to join Zoom all day, every day for 9 weeks. So if you don't have an appropriate device, we will send one to you, and then you'll return it to us at the end of your time with us. And then finally, if you are receiving any benefits at the moment from the JCP, such as universal credit, we can issue a letter if you're successful with us that you can continue to receive those benefits. So usually if you were to join a full-time training program, you might lose your benefits because technically you're not able to search for full-time work. However, there is an agreement we have in place with the DWP that learners with us are able to continue to receive their benefits. And you likely won't have to do your work coach meetings while you're with us either, so that you're able to commit to us full-time. And then finally, you'll also have access to something called LinkedIn Learning, which is normally a paid-for platform, but we will be able to offer you a registration for free. And this is like an additional platform where you can do short-term courses and upskilling to get badges for your LinkedIn profile to kind of prove to recruiters and employers that you have been upskilling and that you have particular skills banked in your application and that you are able to fulfill their job descriptions. So just to review again, our bootcamp is instructor-led. So instead of other training providers you may have accessed, will just give you handouts or curriculum dumps, and you'll have to self-pace yourself or lead yourself through them. Our training is interactive, and we have a professional instructor who will guide you through the interactive learning from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the 9 weeks that you're with us. The sessions are generally on Zoom, and then we also use other platforms such as Slack and Canvas to engage with the learning. And then there will be a bit of self-study time in the later afternoons to ensure that you're able to keep up and work through any group work that you may have or any projects that your group might be putting together. And then again, if you need access to a laptop or a Wi-Fi stick, we are able to provide that if you need it. And then employability support. So there are, in addition to giving you just the skills, competencies, and like technical knowledge that you need to fulfill these jobs, we also help upskill you in soft skills and also employability skills to make sure that you are confident when it comes to interviews and capable when it comes to like the transition back into the workplace. So these look like employability sessions where you might cover topics such as persistence or resilience or imposter syndrome. We will help you with your CV, your cover letter, and you'll do mock interviews and interview simulations with us to build up that confidence and make you feel really supported in your environment. And we'll help you with getting connections to employers that are hiring in your area, and then help with transitional support into employment if you're successful in getting a role. At this moment, I'm going to pass over to the wonderful Jenny, who is just in the background here. She is one of our mentors, and she's going to talk a little bit about what mentoring looks like at Generation and why we believe in it. So I'm just going to introduce Jenny to the call.
Hi, Bernard. Thank you very much.
Hey, Jenny.
Good afternoon. Hi, everybody. My name is Jenny, and I'm one of the mentors with Generation. I am based in Ireland, but I work across both the UK and Ireland. So I have the best of both worlds for all over the place. And just to give you some insight into what the mentorship looks like, we are mentors that are invested in your individualized supports and what you need to be successful on our boot camps and post-program. And that looks like mentorship that is specialized to individual needs, supporting adult learners through training boot camps, but also around your motivation and your goal setting, your confidence building. A lot of people are transitioning into new careers or being out of work for some time. So we really want to make sure as mentors that we are supporting you each step of the way. We will support you with developing your employability skills, which is a barrier for a lot of people. I know interviews can be really challenging for people. So we also work to really develop confidence around presenting yourself and selling yourself in a way for a new industry that will really see you successful at interview. We also offer pastoral care and individual well-being. We understand that people have a lot of different things going on. You're trying to manage maybe childcare and maybe your accommodation, all different situations and circumstances that are happening for you at this time. So we are invested as well in your well-being, and we do care about what's going on for you as well. So we really are invested in supporting you as a person and helping you navigate all those different things and managing that throughout the boot camps, because it is 9 to 5. It is a big commitment. So we want to make sure you're supported the best way we can. And our support really starts at pre-program. So we have a support needs conversation before the program would start to identify any support needs that you may have, any challenges that you think you may face during the boot camp, so we can really prepare you and set strong goals to help you succeed throughout the boot camp. We then have an onboarding stage. So we sit down, we talk about your personal circumstances, how we navigate those, again, whether it's childcare and trying to balance childcare, school runs, making lunches, whatever the case may be. So we look to set an action plan around that. You will receive a lot of one-to-one support from your mentor on programs. Your mentor will be in class a lot at what we call daily opening, so first thing in the morning, just to check in, see how everybody is going. You also have dedicated one-to-one sessions, and normally there will be 4 one-to-one sessions each learner throughout the duration of the boot camp. So that would be 1 pre-program, and then you would have 3 one-to-one sessions with your mentor on the boot camp. You also have ad hoc one-to-one. So if you need to see your mentor, you need to speak to someone or ask a question, we are there. We are around all the time. And Bernard mentioned Slack. That's a communication tool. It's instant messaging that we would use if you need to ask a question or you want to see one of us. So we do communicate through there as well. We will look at helping you understand the role you want to go for, understand what it is you want to progress into, what is your ideal, I suppose, role, and how do we get there, and then really look at what goals you need to set for yourself to get to that point. So we'll set goals throughout the boot camp as well. And then we have the employability side of the program, which is built in to your daily schedule. So you could be doing CV sessions in week 2, 3, 4. So we're really creating a strong CV that aligns to the new industry that you're going into, and really highlighting transferable skills and adaptability and persistence and all those softer skills that you need to go with the technical skills. And as Bernard said, we support you with interview techniques. So there's a lot of spotlights and mock interviews that you would do on program 2. And then post-program is like a continuation of that. So you'll work with your employability coaches and our placements team to really continue what you've developed on program, that professionalism, the employability skills, but also that confidence building, and then the job placement. So actually looking for the jobs, the interviews. So it's a continuation from, I suppose, the day you start your onboarding right through to when you get a job, and then after and into when you get a job for 6 months. It's very hands-on and very practical. And we are eager to see new people join us, hopefully very soon. And if you have any other questions or any questions, please do ask.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny. And I love to see the Christmas tree behind you.
I know, I get in the Christmas mood.
Cool. Thanks a million. That's a really good overview. And I guess the mentor is the person who's always the cheerleader in the back, who always believes in you and wants you to succeed and get you from where you are right now to where you want to be in the future.
Absolutely. I think the thing that was said about me at a graduation the other day is I am the mammy of the group, which, yeah, I thought was really interesting, but we definitely are the biggest cheerleaders and the biggest supporters for everybody. 100%.
Cool. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks for introducing mentoring. And yeah, if anybody has any particular questions, I will send them your way in the next bit. But have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thanks a million. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Cool. So that is a quick overview of mentoring. And here's just an example of some of the different platforms we're using. So on the top right is Zoom and what the classroom would look like. And then on the bottom left, you can see Slack, and that's a particular classroom chat. And then there's different like study groups or connection groups on Slack that you can get connected with. So a couple of quick FAQs and a reminder that this webinar is live. So if you have any particular questions, you can pop them into the chat either on YouTube or on Twitch. So how will you be supported while you're on the program? So what happens if you get ill? Because that is like a reality, especially in wintertime and in post-COVID times. So if you get ill, there is a particular form that you fill out, like a Google spreadsheet or a Google form to fill out if you need to miss any class for any particular reason, including if you're ill. And that just lets your instructor and mentor know that you're going to be away and start to make a plan for catching up if you missed any particular material. So recordings of sessions and handouts are all going to be online, and your mentor and instructor will think about giving you flexi time or catch-up time to go back over material. What financial supports are available, so you can continue to receive any benefits you're currently on. And also we will cover any travel that we might ask you to do. So for example, an IT support bootcamp in Ireland, so ITS Ireland 9 just graduated this past week, and they all traveled up to Dublin to the Microsoft head offices to do their graduation. And because people were from all around the country of Ireland, we paid for the travel that they took to get to the graduation session. And then what happens if you don't get a place on the program? We will give you constructive feedback, and we'll give you some next steps for other boot camps or other organizations that you might be better placed to help you. And then in return, the expectations of the learners is that to graduate, we expect you to have at least 90% attendance. Expectation is 95% plus, realistically. We are a camera on class environment, so the teaching is not passive. It's not just a lecture for you to listen to, but it is camera on, engaged, interactive learning. So you'll be going through role plays or scenario-based learning or teamwork to kind of ingrain the instructions and technical skills that the instructor is giving you. And then also the commitment to being able to attend the 9-week program. And then this is just a quick review of the mentoring again, before, during, and after, while you're on the program. So here is a quick review of the kind of blended learning that we're doing, where we're giving you not just the technical skills, but also the mindsets and behaviors that really make you stand out in the job market for IT support or service desk analyst roles. I'm going to talk about this quickly, and then I will talk about what a career in IT support could look like, and the curriculum for our bootcamp. So this is just a really quick overview of the different behavioral skills, the mindsets, and the technical skills that you will gain when you're on our bootcamp. So behavior-wise, you will learn about customer focus, communication, teamwork, and adaptability. So those are like the soft skills or transferable skills that you can bring into the role that we will make sure that you are competent in. Mindsets then are personal responsibility, growth mindset, future orientation, persistence. And again, those are like the softer skills that really make somebody stand out when they are doing a job application and when they are getting their roles. And then the skills that we hope to gap are the technical skills at the bottom. And these are what we will be working to upskill you in over the 9 weeks in particular, being like being able to diagnose, triage, troubleshoot, resolve common incidents with hardware, software, and devices, networking and security across multiple different operating systems and types of computers, being able to navigate ticket management systems and manage tickets effectively, maintaining comprehensive notes of all incidents, and then demonstrating effective communication across different channels or methods of communication. So it will teach you everything you need to know to be a really competent IT support technician or IT analyst. So then, which transitioned us really well into what a career in IT support could look like. So what does an IT support analyst do? Which is a great question, and one that we really should answer before we get into a 9-week bootcamp in the area. So the soft skills that are required for an IT support analyst. So you need to be really comfortable with customer support, be really good at problem solving, communication, building relationships with clients, strong teamwork with your team and with your colleagues, proactiveness, and orientation to detail. And then the technical skills, which are the hard skills that you need in order to fulfill this role. And those are resolving computer software and hardware incidents, maintaining operating systems and networks, using platforms such as chat, email, and phone calls, and then logging tickets and creating solutions for various issues. And then just a really quick overview of what the salary or the could look like and what the career progressions would be like. And these salaries are estimates, and they are kind of based on what we see on LinkedIn and Glassdoor and what we've seen our graduates moving into as they start their first role and then get promoted over time. So your first line support, which is what we are preparing you for, you're looking at a salary of £18,000 to £24,000. And we do see people, depending on the organization or the company, we do see people at higher than that as well. But on average, we're seeing 18 to 24. And then you would move into second line support, which is a more senior role and a little bit more removed from the customer and more focused on technical issues. And we're seeing those people on about £30,000 a year. And then as you continue to upskill, progress, and develop your competence in the team, you could move into networking or systems. And those people are on about £40,000 a year. And then continuing on into management or consultancy or more technical roles, those are £50,000 and above. And really being tech, those salaries go as high as you can imagine. The responsibilities at their core do tend to kind of stay the same, being troubleshooting tech challenges, diagnosing and triaging issues as quickly as possible, and maintaining systems, user accounts, and networks. I just want to make this slide a little bit bigger because I think it's important to study this a bit. So this is, we will follow the distinct pathways here, but this is kind of looking at the different routes that your career pathway could take. This depends completely on the organization that you start off with, what their structures are like, and kind of where you want to move yourself. So if you were to stay in the gray and for a lot of the light blue, as we move from left to right, this would be kind of supported by somebody who has studied IT support and has either stays in IT support in the gray at the top and just moves into like management and more technical roles within that function, or picks up some more technical competencies and focuses more on the technical side of things rather than the management side of things in the light blue. So the entry point would be the same. Either you're doing, you finish university, or you do a graduate course, or you do a training course, or you do a bootcamp like ours, and you start off in your first role in IT support as a junior IT help desk technician or a service desk analyst or IT support engineer. And then staying in the gray, you could move up in IT support roles, going from second, third line support into management and then into senior IT management over 10 years. And you'll see that you would stay in IT support, but you would grow in the technical, your technical ability, and you would grow in like your human resource management or team management ability. If you wanted then to become more technical, you can move into network administration or systems administration and move into like the light blue colors here and move across kind of into secure operations network engineer, then senior network engineer. And then to give a little bit of history on our bootcamp was first set up as an 8-week IT support only program. But Microsoft approached us a bit over a year ago now and said that people would be much more employable if they had a foundation or fundamental in cybersecurity. So we updated our IT support bootcamp to include a 1-week fundamental in cybersecurity, which still has the same entry point of starting with IT support, but then allows our graduates a bit more flexibility about where they want to move into in their future career, looking at 5 or 10 years down the line, because cybersecurity doesn't necessarily have any junior level or entry level roles. However, you do need to be in the tech industry and upskill in the tech industry in order to move into these roles. And we want more people to be able to move in, to have the choice of moving into them if they want. With the idea being that you would do our IT support with cybersecurity program, you would get your role in IT support, and then after 2 to 5 to 10 years, you could progress into a cybersecurity role as you have continued with your professional development and picked up more technical competencies in your day-to-day role. So you start in IT support, you then move into an operations or an admin role within your company, and then you gain professional development and then be able to move into a cybersecurity role into the future. And this is what you can see on the light blue. So you would need some cybersecurity competencies in order to become like a network engineer or a senior network engineer or architect. And then you would definitely need some cyber skills and competencies to be able to move into the dark blue roles, being security analyst and cyber specialist. I think I have some salary information on the next page. Yeah, so you can see to stay in IT support and IT support pure function, you would track the blue line. You could see the salaries all start about the same, no matter which track you're in. They're all starting about £19,000. And again, this is information from Glassdoor, LinkedIn, and our graduates all fed together. And then you can see that over time, the pure IT support kind of caps at £40,000 per month, but does keep gradually rising. So you can extrapolate what this would continue as after 5, 10, 15 years working in the industry. It would continue to grow, but you can see that moving into a networking or a cyber role, there is a bit of uplift after 4 or 5 years as you kind of specialize more into that role. And those salaries do grow a little bit faster as you become more senior. And Philip, I just see your message in the chat. That's no problem. Again, this webinar is recorded. It'll be at the same link on YouTube, and the recording will also go out into your email in the next couple of days. So that's perfectly fine if you need to drop off right now. I'm going to bring up a recording of a video from Neil, who I had the pleasure of chatting with 2 or 3 weeks ago. Neil is the help desk manager with an organization called Dunedin IT, who have a base up in Scotland, and they have taken on a couple of our graduates. And Neil gave a really interesting and helpful insight into what the reality of working in an IT function looks like, and just the variance of the different types of work that they get up to. So rather than just listening to me talk about what your career in IT could look like, we always think it's helpful to actually hear from somebody who's working in the field. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome Neil to pop in, and I will bring the recording up and check in with you again in a couple minutes. And when we come back, I will talk about this bootcamp's curriculum and what the application process is to apply for this bootcamp. So when the applications deadlines are, and how what the stages are between now and the applications closing. Thank you for joining our webinar.
Excellent.
So Neil is the Information Technology Help Desk Manager at Dunedin IT. And we're very privileged to have you here on the call with us today. This is the webinar information session for our upskilling, for our upcoming IT Support with Cybersecurity Bootcamp, which starts in December across the UK. And yeah, we welcome you here today to talk a bit about what your career journey has been to date, what your role at Untitled IT is, and what they do as a company, and then where does IT fit into your company function, and insights into the sector more broadly. So just to introduce yourself a bit, Neil, if you want to talk a bit about what your career journey has been to date.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you very much for having me as well. So I've been at Dunedin IT now for a year and a half almost. Unusually, my background is not in IT. My background is customer service. So I've been working for like banks, financial institutes, pension companies. Came into Dunedin IT looking for a challenge. Appreciate that the IT industry is fast growing, it's fast paced, and it's fast moving as well. And it's been brilliant since I've been here, and given an opportunity to develop and work with a lot of talented individuals, learn from them while they've learned as well. I was the help desk manager. I've just actually changed role recently, and I'm now the customer experience manager, but I work closely with the new help desk manager, service delivery manager. So combined, the three of us are looking to ensure that the journey for customers and for colleagues is as effective as possible, basically. So getting the best out of the engineers and watching them grow and develop professionally and personally as well is something that I'm really keen in doing, basically. And that's a really sort of short introduction to myself. Dunedin IT, just to give you an idea of what we do. So we're an MSP, managed service provider. If you can imagine companies that have got an IT department, so I've worked at places like RBS, Aegon in Edinburgh, and they'll have an IT department. If companies don't have an IT department, we are that IT department. So we are like if somebody could have a problem with a printer, for instance, and they're one of our clients. So we've got like, I think it's about 180 clients, 4,000 end users. So yeah, it could be things from like fixing printers. It could be setting up laptops to configuring like sonic walls, things like that as well. So that's and doing like IT refreshes for like maybe 48 PCs that we did last year for one client. So there's a lot of involvement in that. It's extremely fast paced. I'm not going to lie. There will be jobs out there in the IT industry where you could change passwords all day. This isn't going to be it. So there, yeah, on this slide here, you can see on site, we'll have people that we've got on site. And that is, so we'll have engineers going out, visit clients, really important as well. That's where my customer service skills come in. You know, the fact that we're confident we can put the engineers there. They'll have the technical knowledge around them, but they'll also have the confidence to speak to people, clients, interact with them on a regular basis. Predominantly based Central Belt Scotland, but we've got clients all over the UK. There you can see some of the work that we've done. So top left-hand corner, working for Scottish Wildlife Trust, and they've got like sites all over Scotland. Bottom middle of the picture is David Ingles, the owner of Dunedin IT, showing working on site somewhere, getting his sleeves rolled up. He knows the company owner, doesn't see any harm with that. And on the top right, that is more work for Scottish Wildlife Trust as well that we were doing. So that was really good, that. And it goes to show you that the experience that you get is like very, it's very in depth. Here's like what the teams, you know, what we look like. So you'll have in the top right hand corner, going out for a Christmas night out. On the left hand side, we're a very diverse company. So we've got engineers, employees, staff from all over the world. And we'll have a team meeting every Friday, 2 o'clock. Everybody comes along, everybody talks. We learn what people have been up to for the week, and also, yeah, what plans, aspirations, and goals they've got. In the bottom right-hand corner, Greg, senior engineer, you can see him hard at work, working away. So yeah, that gives you like an idea. Very diverse team that we've got. A wealth of experience, wealth of knowledge. What Jamie, one of the directors at Dunedin IT, says is working for Dunedin IT for a year it's like working for another MSP for 3 years. You'll learn so much within that time, and it's not for everybody, you know. If you look at the picture there on the left-hand side, that shows you one of the sites that have been faced by an injury when they've gone on site to try and fix an issue that a client had. And again, popular ones like printers aren't working. How can we get them set up on laptops? So it's extremely fast-paced, but there is a lot to learn. In my time I've been here, I've seen like engineers grow and develop, and it's been brilliant, you know, to watch that happen. It fills me with pride when you see them develop and push on and progress within the company. It's really good. And this is what like our help desk looks like on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, there's a representation. You know, it's hybrid working, and we're looking for people to be in the office as much as possible because that way you learn. It's hybrid working, no. On the right-hand side is our ticketing system. So it shows you like how busy it is. So you'll have a column. You've got 4 columns at the top. 352 tickets. We've got like 3 queuing systems, red, yellow, and blue. It's like a hospital triage, really. Red is like you're going to get a plaster on, you'll be out in a couple of hours. Yellow, you'll get a stookie, a plaster cast on your arm, and you'll wait by the end of the day. And blue means you'll need a bit more surgery, and you'll be out there in a few days. So that sort of gives you an idea of what the ticketing system comes in. You know, like how quickly we'd be looking to get a ticket resolved for clients. But yeah, that's extremely fast-paced. There's potential to learn and develop so much working for the need in IT, and that's like a really sort of brief overview. Clients that will offer IT support. So again, if you think about companies that have an IT department, they would potentially have like an IT department on site. So the companies that we serve, while they don't have an IT company on site, we will send like engineers out at various points. We can see me there on the right hand side. So we're based in Edinburgh, based not too far from Hibs. We sponsor Hibs. We're on the back of the shirts, loads of media coverage with that. It's been fantastic for the company. And yeah, we made it onto FIFA, which was brilliant. And that was a big, massive achievement for us. It's good, you know, for a small company to see that. And there's more of our clients. So even though we're predominantly based in the central belt of Scotland, bottom left, Alnwick Gardens, that are in Northumberland in England, big, massive country estate. They've got Lilydorey, the biggest theme and biggest play park in the world, opened a few months ago. We do IT support for that as well. Top right hand corner, Scottish Wildlife Trust again. They require IT to like film like Osprey and stuff like that. So that's a really challenging situation, just to make sure that we've got the IT facilities to support that 365 days a year in all weather conditions, and that's a challenge. Yeah, and this is it. So this will be some more of the clients that we do, like architect companies as well, really big for architect companies. So that'll present challenges, what kind of issues they're having, what kind of software that they're using as well. They're another really fast-paced environment where they'll need results, you know, like really quickly. So we've worked with a lot of clients who've got a lot of big projects in that. And it's funny when, like in Edinburgh, when you're like out and about in Edinburgh, the clients that you notice that we help, be it like if you're like on the tram, for instance, going down the shore, there's clients that we deal with down there, and be it up the town, and you'll see sort of support. So there's a sense of pride and achievement in that we're able to help them. Perth Racecourse as well, top left-hand corner, that is another client that we do. And we help, so we'll send out like an engineer when there's like racing on. We've helped them with a ticketing system. And with Perth Racecourse, really big, important that internet's working for bookmakers placing bets, customers or bookmakers taking bets, and the racecourse attendees being able to place a bet is really important. So that can be a challenge, but yeah, it's one that we've successfully been able to meet. Again, there's more from Scottish Wildlife Trust, so it shows you like how remote, like we could have like, they've got a setup on an island, for instance, filming wildlife. So it's how we make sure not only can we maintain that, but if something was to go wrong, how quickly can we send out an engineer to look at that? Bottom right hand corner shows you one of our clients, Biogen. So we've got a sister company to Linnea. They do a lot of work for recycling companies. You wouldn't automatically think recycling and IT go hand in hand, but when it comes to weighing the waste that comes in, having it tallied to the driver, to the van, what happens to waste thereafter, IT is really important in that, and that like shows you one of the sites, Belgian. I think that's the one at Miller Hill, which is near Portobello in Edinburgh. I think that's their one there. And it's like a massive, massive site, and the responsibility if something doesn't go right, how quickly we can respond to get it fixed. And here's like a lot of like the technology we use. So we've given the engineers tools that'll help them and help the customers and help us as a business as well. So like the main ones that we use is like Halo's a ticketing system, IT Glue document stuff, Ninja. We can't always get on site, so Ninja will allow us to access users remotely, which is fantastic. We'll have other ones as well. So like WebRoot, for instance, Fade as well. Ignite is a big thing for like storing information. Microsoft Security as well, really big on that. Azure as well is another one of the products that we're using as well. So, and then on the outside of that, you've got the things like Gamma, which do phone lines technology, and communication's really big just now. And it's and Gamma are one of the sort of big players on that. And that's like an overview of the clients or the technology we use. I've stressed it because I've been here like a year and a half, interviewed people have come in and it's not been a career for them. Other people, it has been a career for them, and what we like to show is challenging. So you'll have the bit where like your confidence is growing, it's sky high, you feel that you're doing really well, and then something will go wrong, crash down, you've got a valley of despair. We call it the week from hell, basically, where like everybody will have that. I remember I had it probably almost a year ago actually, but it was like a really challenging situation for one of the clients with the support on site. How do I manage that with the resource we've got and the requirements for that client? And it was extremely challenging, but I came through that, through the other side, and then you start to pick it back up again. So we're like extremely honest, and a big thing is like honesty and truth. And you know, it, as I say, that there'll be jobs that you can get, which is going to be easy on this one, but there's not many jobs that you're going to get that you'll be able to learn as much as what you can here.
Thanks so much, Neil. That was a really helpful overview, and I love that that description of it might be an entry-level job, but that doesn't mean it's going to be entering passwords and doing menial work. It's going to be fast-paced and like relevant and useful work that keeps society ticking over. It's like the backbone that you don't see, but without it, everything falls apart. So yes, that was a really helpful overview of your career journey, doing it in IT and some of the industries you work in, and just kind of the challenges that you've overcome. I do wonder if you could talk a little bit about your new role and what specifically it is that you do in the organization and what your responsibilities are in your function.
Yeah, definitely. So my new role, customer experience manager. So predominantly I'll be working with clients to give them strategies, plans on what they need to do going forward. So we've got software we can identify how old a machine is. We've got software to identify what problems customers are facing as well. So if you keep having the same issue, the laptops are older, we can then put forward a plan to say, for you to stop having the amount of tickets you've got coming into the help desk, you need to get new devices. This is how old the current machines are. This is like the lifespan of them, and this is what we propose to help you going forward. That's part of it. Touching base with clients, answering any sort of questions they've got, being a point of escalation as well. Going back to them if there's like negative feedback, also positive feedback as well. Finding out what we can do to develop as a company, I think, is big. Also an element with recruitment. I head up the recruitment at Dunedin IT, and helping the engineers with HR related inquiries as well. And that can be things like training, what training do they require, how they're going to get that training. I'll have regular catch-ups with engineers. We'll work out like a training plan. We'll reflect on what they've achieved since the last time we've met, and we'll plan out what they're going to do for the next time that we meet as well. And I think that's probably, again, just an overview of what I'm doing just now.
Awesome. Thank you. I don't know if you can see the chat on YouTube, but somebody said that they're also a Hibs fan.
Oh, brilliant. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Cool. Thank you so much for your time, Neil. Really appreciate it. And thanks for like the insights and the on the ground description of what things are.
Excellent. Has anybody got any questions at all? Anything else at all I can maybe answer just now?
Yeah, so we might hold on for a minute and see if there are any live questions in the chat. But in the interim, I wonder if you have any particular nuggets of advice for somebody who might have done zero experience in IT prior to this and wants to kickstart their career. Any piece of insight for somebody who's eager to get in but maybe doesn't know how to do it?
Really good point, actually. So I think, like, we've taken on engineers who have not got like an IT background. As long as you've got like a passion for IT, then we're more likely, like, you don't have to have like a knowledge of like an extensive knowledge of IT. There's ones who've come in and absolutely, because they're passionate, you know, we'll allow them to take devices home, play about with them, get them set up. Yeah, they'll do good. When it comes to like, I think a big thing as well now is we're sort of relying a lot on communicating through like electronically, you know, like we're in the WhatsApp generation or like social media. And I think if you've got the skills where you can like talk to people, be it over the phone or face to face, that's still, even in the AI developing society that we're in, I think that's a big turning point as well. If for instance, it was the case that like when it comes to, again, like IT, it's a case of, I suppose it's the same as a lot of industries. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out. Do you know what I mean? So that's a big thing. But having a passion for IT, the ability to, the more you put in, the more you'll get out of it. Looking to develop is a big, massive thing. And we've seen it. Like we as a company, we support people that come in. There's a lot of free training that we do, but we'll also pay for our training. We've got like engineers doing Microsoft exams just now, so we're more than happy to do that as long as there's a benefit. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be a benefit for us as a company.
Yeah, and I did talk about that previously, about how like you start your career in IT support, and then based on your professional development, you can very much get into whatever niche in IT you want to. Cool, thank you. So there's a couple of people who are saying thank you. Somebody says you're doing a great job for the Scottish tourism industry. And then you've touched on this already, but there was a question around like the transition from finance into IT, because this is what Gord's is also interested in. But I think you did touch on that a bit already.
Well, even, I suppose, like, it's about having like skills which are transferable. So while I didn't have an IT background, I had the experience of managing, coaching, developing people, getting the best out of individuals as well, working closely with clients. And it was like sort of transferable skills. So I wasn't employed from a technical point of view. And while there's people here who are, be it engineers, we've got senior engineers, so that it will be them up to making sure like any sort of technical aspects will be getting answered and addressed. But and that's it is a really good, it's an exciting industry to be in, and there's lots of scope, development, opportunities. And it's so even like, look, when we're interviewing people, it's like we'll be asking people like, what's your sort of like interest outside the work IT wise, and you'll have people that like won't say anything, and then like later on they'll say, oh well, I've been like making PCs since I was like 12-year-old and stuff, and it's like, well, you just need to, you know what I mean? We work, the world that we're in is all IT, so you might not realise how much you do. Do you know what I mean? If you've set up like a PC for a relative, or if you've got somebody set up on like Facebook or that, they're maybe not computer savvy. That's the sort of thing. So while we wouldn't be setting clients up on Facebook, it's all process. You know, how do you communicate with someone? How do you make it explainable in terms that they will appreciate as well?
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Thank you for giving us the insights, and all the very best for the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, it was a little bit late joining in. I had another meeting there, but yeah, that was really good. But now, if there's any points for that, just pass them on, and we're more than happy to like catch up with people of that.
Will do.
Maybe even have an open session in the Edinburgh office of that somewhere down the line if people wanted to come in and see what it was like. It's more than happy to work out. We're just moving office as it is just now next door, but yeah, it's something we can maybe facilitate later on. Definitely, like a bit of work experience. Let's see what's happening.
Awesome. Thank you, Neil. Hope you have a good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to say good luck to everybody as well. And yeah, hopefully all the best for the future. And we may well see you at some point going forward as well. So thank you very much for having me.
Bye. Awesome. That was Neil from Dunedin IT talking a bit about what his role was and what the function of the organization is and what a career in IT could look like. And Zoe, you asked a really good question in the chat. Is it something that he enjoys, and is he glad he went into the role? Without putting words in his mouth, I think it was pretty evident from especially the last bits that he was talking about that he really does enjoy it, and that he, like, given that he's started in one role in the company and moved in and kept progressing within the same company, I reckon that he is glad that he's there and he's enjoying the variances of the role. So I'm just going to change so we can see all of it. This is an overview of the curriculum that our bootcamp will cover across the 9 weeks. And you can kind of see that every week you're getting a bit of every part of the training. So you're getting the behavioral skills, the mindsets, the employment essentials, and the technical skills every week. So there's never any particular time that is heavy in like technical competencies, or never any particular time where you're only doing the employment upskilling or whatever. It is quite structured, and the day is quite well paced, and I'll give you an example of a typical day in 2 or 3 slides. So just an overview of what you're covering week by week. So you can see that straight away we're getting you right in with giving you the behavioral skills and the mindsets, like those are the soft and the transferable skills that really make you stand out in an interview and as an employee. So you're getting in straight away with things like growth mindset, communication, customer focus, and then we are just picking you up with the technical skills from the beginning as well, starting with like the more general introduction to role and workplace strategy and the fundamental bits, but then moving into the tech fundamentals and incident management cycles pretty quickly. And then you can see we've also got sessions called skills application. So those will be looking at case studies and scenarios to do like application of what you're doing. So like specific scenario-based learning and group work and role plays to ensure that what you're learning, you're able to apply so that the information really does stick. All of the sessions are live on Zoom, either as a whole class, or you might be in a breakout room with a small group working on a particular project or working through a particular scenario. Then you'll be doing practice labs on a platform called Test Out or on Canvas. And then all along, you will also have one-to-one check-ins and sessions with your mentor. And they will also help you with like goal setting and staying on track with your targets. And then looking forward into like weeks 5 through 9, you'll see there's more learning and it gets more in depth into the technical side of things, and the skills application becomes even more hands-on and doing drills and practicals. And then you'll see week 8 is the new cybersecurity week, where you'll pick up the essentials for cybersecurity or the fundamentals for cybersecurity, so that you have that in your back pocket as you're starting in your IT support roles. And then week 9 is graduation week, and you'll move into the post-program phase, which is when we focus on getting you applying for jobs and getting you into the workforce as soon as possible. And I'll talk about the post-program phase in a couple slides. This is just a quick look at, again, the curriculum breakdown and what the technical fundamental skills are looking at. And again, you'll get a copy of this webinar, so you'll be able to pause and look at pause the screen and look at the freeze frames and like go through this in your own time in the future. So a typical day in the classroom, and on the right hand side there you can see like a screenshot from Slack and from Zoom. So you might log in or either report your absence if you need to miss the day just before 9 a.m. 9 o'clock the day will start with a daily opening, which is like a stand-up or like a daily check-in where everybody in the class will join a call together and everybody will just say how they're feeling about the day, and somebody might give a presentation about, like, for example, one of their hobbies or something from their home or their culture. And then the instructor will kick off the day with presenting a new topic for like an hour through 10:30. Then you'll have a break, and then continuing with this example day, you might do some role plays for another hour and a half in breakout rooms. Then you might do an hour of case study discussions. Then you might do a workshop on CVs, and then some labs on Test Out, which is the platform to do the technical work, through to 4 p.m. when you'll have a checkout session and reflect on your day. And then 4:30, the teaching will finish, and you'll have 30 minutes just to do any catch-up work or meet with your mentor or your instructor, through to 5 p.m. when the day is finished. So that's what a typical day could look like. It is very structured, and it is pretty hands-on, though you will see there is a good amount of time where you have like an hour for lunch, and you've got a break in the morning time to make sure that everybody is able to get through it. And of course, there is the reality that some people have, so for example, caring responsibilities, like you need to do a school run or you need to look after a family member or something like that. So that's something that you would mention to your mentor, and we will always try and accommodate wherever we can, just the practicals or the realities of life. So sometimes we'll move our break times around so that more parents can do their school run during the break time, for example. But we also encourage you to consider what this could look like when you're on the program, because if the program is full-time and the workplace on the other end is also full-time, you'll need to make sure that whatever arrangements you make for the practicalities of life outside of training or work are sustainable for the long term. So, for example, if you need to do a school run at a particular time in the day, we would encourage you to think like longer term, 6 months, 9 months, a year, whatever down the line, when you are looking for full-time work. What could it look like, or are there any alternatives around for you to be able to balance being in work and also caring for all of the bits outside in life at the same time? So the question then is, who is this bootcamp for, and who is this career sport? Who is this career path for? So we don't expect you to have any particular education. We don't expect you to have any particular work experience. So this bootcamp isn't for people who have gone to university and done a computer science degree and got a first and have already started working in like IT and they want to upskill into IT support. This bootcamp really isn't for those people. This bootcamp is for people who have faced a barrier for getting into this employment pathway, but are really interested in this employment pathway. So if you want to ask yourself kind of through this list, and if this sounds like you, then we really welcome you to apply. So like, do you enjoy helping people, and do you get some energy out of helping people to have a better day and solving their problems? Do you enjoy having like a varied workload or an interesting workload where no 2 days are exactly the same? Are you motivated by problem solving, and can you like think on your feet of solutions? Do you have like a broad range of knowledge, and do you enjoy like being able to bring together like a varied amount of information? Do you appreciate really good communication, especially customer facing? Do you enjoy being in a supportive team? And do you know that tech is the future, or tech is a really good place to kickstart your career, but you're not really sure how to get into it or where specifically to start? So if that sounds like you, or if those things sound appealing to you, then this training course seems like it might be a really good fit for you, and we really welcome your application. So quick overview again is that this training is free for you because it is funded by public and private sector funding. It is 9 weeks long, and we help to connect you with employers who are hiring, and we aim to have 80 to 85% plus of our graduates employed after 3 months of studying with us. You have mentor support during the program, and after you graduate, you'll continue to receive any universal credit from the JCP, and if you need laptop or internet access, we can provide you with it. So the placement phase then is what we call the bit of time after you graduate from the 9 weeks of training. This can last up to 6 months, though it shouldn't, because ideally you will get into a job shortly after graduating, so you wouldn't then need to engage with the placement phase anymore. It is a period of time that's dedicated to helping secure you a relevant job role. The difference with this bit is that instead of you logging in every day and joining the class and receiving instruction, the difference is that this side is motivated by you with our support. So if you graduate with us, there are kind of 2 different paths through which you would, routes through which you would gain employment. And that's either through self-apply or through the opportunities that we source. Self-applying looks like us upskilling you and equipping you to be really comfortable and confident with using, for example, LinkedIn or Indeed or other job boards like Monster, knowing what type of roles you want. So where do you want them? What titles are you looking for? What salaries are you looking for? And then when those roles come up, how to apply to them, and making sure that your CV, your cover letter, and your interview skills are top-notch. So when the roles come up, let us know, and we can help you prep with your application. And if you're invited to interview, we can help prep you that you're not nervous, and then help you with the transition into employment. On the other hand, we have staff whose role it is, who are based in each region around the country that we operate in, whose role it is to notify employers about us, so that employers know who we are, how we work, what the strengths of our graduates are, and when we have a new class of graduates coming up to graduation. These companies will then let us know if they have any available roles that are coming up that they would like you to interview for. We'll let you know what the roles are, some details about them, and you can tell us if you want to interview. And if you do, we will connect you to the employers who are hiring. Our commitment during these 6 months of the placement phase is that we will job opportunities. So we'll work hard to partner with employers to secure opportunities for you. We will match you to them based on where you live in and what your goals are. We will send you relevant roles we'll also send you relevant roles to self-apply for. We will help support you. So there will be a full schedule of activity during the first month. And this kind of helps you transition into like a post-classroom environment where you will have weekly workshops and check-ins, but you're not going to be with us all day, every day. And this kind of helps keep you motivated to continue with your job search yourself in your own time. And then we will also continue working with you. So building up your competence and confidence, help you with that CV, encourage you to reflect on any interviews that you get, to kind of keep building on your interview skills, help you prepare for your new job once you've been offered a role, and will help you celebrate that success when you get there. And then the commitment is, it kind of goes both ways, because then your commitment during the placement phase would be that during your job search, you are the driving force. So we encourage you to apply for the roles that we find for you, and then also know what it is exactly that you're looking for, and find those roles for yourself, and just keep applying and updating the job tracker, and that you'll continue to attend all of the scheduled sessions and check-ins with us, that you'll stay responsive and like work with us as we help to find you the role that will bring you the most benefit and enjoyment on the other end. And you'll be open to relevant roles, that you'll be open to roles that are full-time and in your commuting distance, and that you'll let us know when you have secured a role. So the application process. So this bootcamp is, again, it starts on Monday, January the 29th, and it lasts for 9 weeks, from Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. We do have some eligibility requirements, and these requirements are set by the Department for Education, because they have particular requirements about the just to ensure that you are fully eligible to take one of their boot camps, and that we are allowed to draw down funds for people who take part in our training, so that we can offer our training to you for free for you. So the benefits to you are on the left-hand side in this box. The training is free for you. This is a gateway into IT management and broader tech careers. You can earn up to, we have seen, a 30,000 starting salary, though our averages that we're seeing are 19 to 24. We have one-to-one mentoring, and we offer connections to employers. What skills or attributes are we looking for? We are not looking for you to have a super high level tech skills, abilities, and knowledge. We are looking for you to have a broad interest in technology. So excited about the opportunity to have a career in IT. You don't have to be an IT expert, but you do need to be interested and keen in the area, and be able to have some confidence in speaking about your interest and elaborating upon it. In terms of verbal and written communication, we expect you to be comfortable enough speaking to new people and interacting with people and groups fluently in English. We do welcome people for whom English is not their first language. Oftentimes, organizations love when people are multilingual. So if English is not your first language, you are more than welcome to apply, but we do expect there to be a baseline fluency in English. We want you to be confident writing emails and be passionate about customer service. You are expected to have basic digital literacy skills. So this looks like, are you able to navigate web browsers and Microsoft products? And it's designed for people, the course is designed for people with limited IT knowledge. So we're not expecting you to know how to code, and we're not expecting you to know anything more than basic digital literacy. And at the moment, if you're watching this video, you know how to operate like a live stream, or you know how to get from your email into your web browser, which shows that you do have some basic digital literacy. And finally, you are actively looking for employment. So right now, you are either underemployed or unemployed, and there's been some sort of challenge or barrier between where you are now and where you want to get to. You face maybe a challenge in seeking employment or getting into the particular career field that would give you the most fulfillment. You're able to commit to the program, and you are willing to build a long-term career on the back of this program. So then there are a couple of eligibility requirements, and you do need to be able to prove these through documents that you upload into the application portal. The eligibility requirements are your age, where you are living, your current employment status, and your current employment rights. I'll go through these one by one. There are 2 documents to upload, and each document will prove 2 things at the same time. So first of all, you need to have the legal rights to work and live in the UK. The way in which you prove this is through either, if you are a UK citizen, you can show your UK passport, or if you are an Irish citizen, you can show an Irish passport. If you are an EU citizen, you can show your EU passport and your settled status or your share code. If you were born in the UK, you can upload your British birth certificate and your NI number. And then if you are not from the UK or you're not from Europe, if you are in the UK as an immigrant and you have a BRP, you can upload that. This document that you've uploaded then will prove that you have the legal right to work in the UK, and also that you are over the age of 19 years. And yes, there is a requirement from the DFE, the Department for Education, that you have been living in the UK or the EEA, which is the European Economic Area, for 3 years or more. There are certain exemptions to this. So, for example, if you've come to the UK as part of a refugee scheme, or there are a couple of other particular exceptions, and those are listed in the application. So you'll be able to choose one if you meet it. And then there's just a question there that settled status also includes pre-settled. Yes, you are right. It does include pre-settled. So if you are an EU passport holder, you can upload your pre-settled status or your settled status. Either is fine. And then you need to prove that you are currently living in Yorkshire, Bristol, or Liverpool areas, and that you are currently underemployed or unemployed. The way in which you prove those is either with a screenshot or a PDF of your universal credit. So just showing your address on the top left and your most recent universal credit, like allowance or benefit. Or you can upload some proof for the DWP, or if you're not receiving either of those, you can upload a bank statement. And because it's a bank statement, you're free to block off any bits that you want. But the bank statement should show it should show your address, and it should also show that you do not have regular salary incomes coming into your account. Or if you are currently working, you might be under a fixed term contract, or you might be under a 0-hour contract. Please just upload a copy of the contract, or if you've recently left work, you can upload your P45. I'm just going to summarize that again, because I know that's a lot of kind of technical information. So there are 4 things to prove, and they are, firstly, that you have the legal right to work in the UK and that you are over the age of 19 years. Those are proven through either, if you are a British or UK citizen, either through a birth cert plus an NI number, or through your British passports. If you're an EU citizen, your EU passport plus your pre-settled status, your settled status, or your share code. And if you are from outside of the EU or the UK, you would upload your British residency permit or your BRP. These documents prove that you are over the age of 19 and that you have the legal right to work in the UK. The second document then will prove that you are currently living in Yorkshire, Bristol, or Liverpool, and also that you are currently underemployed or unemployed. And those documents are either a screenshot or a PDF from Universal Credit, the DWP, or a bank statement, or a fixed term contract, or a P45. If you have any issues with providing any of these documents because they are sometimes a little bit complicated to get a hold of or to show, or if there's any reason that you don't meet these eligibilities but you believe that you are eligible, please get in touch. I'm going to put the program inbox just into the comment box right now. So it is IT support program at generation.org. If you have any questions, please do just reach out to our program inbox, and my colleague Yasmin or my colleague Dan will get back to you answering the question that you have, because I do acknowledge that this is a little bit confusing and a little bit technical. So as part of your application, when you make your application, the 2 steps in the application process are to upload these documents. Once you've uploaded the documents, the part of the application will turn yellow, and you'll be able to move on to the next steps. And then after your document has been manually reviewed by a member of the team, it'll either turn green, or if we have any follow-up questions, we will reach out to you. So finally, what does the application look like, and what are each of the application steps? The application is, there are a number of different steps to the application, and the reason for this is to make sure that we get a really full or complete view of yourself as a person, to make sure that we can fully understand where you've come from, what you want, and how we can help you get there. Because different people will do really well at different parts, and we don't want to judge your application on any one particular part. We want to give you the fairest opportunity. So the application is kind of one thing after another, and there are a couple of different steps to complete. The first step being to register on the website and to fill in the check your eligibility and the your details form. If you're watching this webinar, you already should have completed all of these, and you should have passed the eligibility and filled in the your details form already, because the step after that is to sign up for the interview session or the information session. There is an online IT support task or digital literacy task. This is a multiple choice question and an example email to type out at the end, which is just a double check of your current digital literacy skills. And this is on a platform called Classmarker, and you access it through your main portal. Then there is a group task and an interview. And again, those are starting this Thursday, and they will continue through next Wednesday, the 15th. Sorry, the 13th. Next Wednesday is the 13th. These calls last for about 1 hour, and they are at different times on different days, so you'll be able to find a day and a time that suits you. There are a limited number of slots, so please do sign up as soon as you can, because once they are full, we don't really have capacity to interview any additional people. The call will last for about 1 hour in total. The first half will be a group task where the host, so myself or my colleague Dan or one of our other admissions colleagues, will present you and some other applicants on the call with a problem, and it'll be up to you all to come up with a solution together. So it's not a tech problem, it's hopefully fun, with the goal of looking at your communication, your teamwork, your collaboration, and your problem solving, which are all really important soft skills for getting ahead in the IT sector. You'll do that for 30 minutes, and then you'll move into a one-to-one interview. So other staff members from Generation will join the Zoom call, and you'll go into a breakout room with a staff member to do a one-to-one interview call. In the interview, the questions will be based around your background. Why are you interested in this bootcamp? And why do you want to get into IT support as a career? and if there's been anything in particular that has been a blocker for you getting into this career in the past. Please don't be nervous about doing the group task or the interview. We don't want to make you, like, the goal is not to trick you, or the goal is not to make you feel uncomfortable or nervous. We just want to get to know you a bit better, see what in particular has been any blocker for you getting into this sector, and how can we help you succeed in fulfilling your career goals. So the group activity, we hope, will be fun and enjoyable, and then the interview is to get an idea of where you're at right now and hopefully make you feel confident about what you can achieve in the future. At the end of the interview, you may be booked into the final stage of the application, which is a call with one of our mentors, and it's the last bullet point on this slide here. This is a one-to-one 20-minute Zoom call with one of our mentors. Those are starting end of next week, and they are continuing through to the beginning of January. The mentor call, in the mentor call, the mentor will ask some questions about what life is like at the moment, with the goal of seeing if there's any particular extra supports we can put in place to give you the best chance of success while you are with us. So, for example, the mentor might ask about, like, do you have a laptop or internet access? Do you have anybody that you're helping to care for at home? Or like, so for example, if you had like dyspraxia or dyslexia in particular, are there any particular fonts that we could do our handouts in so that they're easier for you to read, for example? Or if you had like social anxiety, can we help to build you up or work on your confidence before you have to give a class presentation, and then do like positive reflection on it, that you're then more confident to go into a presentation in front of strangers in the future. Quick question then from May. I said the group activity will take 30 minutes, the slide says 15. Yes, the group activity does take 15 minutes flat, but with 10 minutes of chat at the beginning and 5 minutes of Q&A at the end. The group task takes 30 minutes in total, with the activity itself taking 15 minutes. Good spot, thanks. So yeah, so it'll start, like, for example, if it started at 3 p.m., we would do introductions for 10 minutes, and I would talk about where you're in the application process for 10 minutes. You do the group activity for 15, and then we would have 5 minutes of Q&A before 3:30, when all the other interviewers would join, and you go into interview rooms for 25 minutes after. So a couple of quick questions that anybody may have, and this is the second last slide. So after this, I'm just going to talk about the deadlines that are coming up between now and the beginning of the bootcamp, and then the webinar will be over. So if you do have any particular questions, please pop them into the chat now, and I'll return to them in the next 5 minutes. So quick overview, what if I get ill? Because again, that's a reality of what can happen nowadays. We'll have like a buddy system, so you can help each other to keep up. Materials are online if you need to catch up, and flexi time to go back over material. And there's that kind of half hour built into the end of the day, so that you have time to catch up with anything you may have missed. There isn't any expectation for you to have to do any homework or extra learning outside of class time. All of the learning is contained within the 9 to 5. I have a holiday booked, can I go? Which is a great question. We do try and accommodate some things like this. However, if it is going to have an impact on attendance, it's likely that you won't be able to do both things at the same time. So if it is going to have an impact on the program, oftentimes we would look at if we can defer your application for the next time that we are running this bootcamp instead. So if you do have a holiday booked, please let us know, and we'll look at options. And sometimes that option is that we would defer your application for the next time that we're running the bootcamp. I'm working part-time. Can I continue working? So generally, generation exists to get people from unemployment or underemployment into employment. So we're never going to recommend that you drop employment or quit your role in order to do a course to then get into a role. That seems counterintuitive. So please, if you are currently working, please do not quit or give up working in order to do this training. Please do consider about joining our full-time training. Can be intensive, so please consider whether you are able to balance learning plus life plus any work that you might be doing and want to continue doing. We do have people who have worked like 0-hour roles, so they've worked like on the weekends or in the evenings around doing our bootcamp training, but we really don't recommend doing more than 16 hours or less on top of the 35 hours of training that you're doing every week. And then finally, how many people will be chosen for the cohort? So given that this program is relevant and it is free, it's extremely competitive, and we offer only 25 spaces because we want to keep the classroom sizes small so that everybody gets enough and a fair amount of time with the instructor and the mentor. So we do really encourage you to stay engaged and active in your application because the application spaces are limited. If for whatever reason you're not successful in getting a spot on the program, we'll provide you with some additional options and resources for your next steps. Here are the deadlines for what is coming up. Today is Tuesday, the 5th of December. Please go back to your application and have a look at what stage you're at right now as soon as this webinar is finished. And please check that you don't have anything extra to move into or to complete. Please do the application information and the online task as soon as possible, and book into a group task and an interview as soon as you can, because again, those are first come, first served. Those are starting on this Thursday, the 7th, and those run until Wednesday, the 13th. At the end of that, you may be booked into a conversation or a meeting with a mentor, which are starting on December the 18th, and those run through the 5th of January. They will start on the 13th, they will start on the 18th, but they won't go over the Christmas break because we are closed for the week of Christmas. And then they'll pick up again at the beginning of January through until the 5th. Then the curriculum team will meet and the offers will be sent out around the 12th of January. And then there will be 2 weeks of onboarding where you will meet your mentor again. You'll meet your instructor one-to-one, and you'll have some induction sessions with the whole classroom between the 12th and the 29th. And then on the 29th, the bootcamp will start in earnest. So please keep a close eye on your emails for any messages from the admissions team, from myself, or from Dan, or from anyone else in the team. Please do have a look at your application now to see if there's any additional steps for you to go through. And there's just a question on YouTube there from May again. Out of curiosity, how many applicants usually are there for 25 spaces? It really does depend on the program and the region that we're running it in. So for example, if we run a bootcamp in London, we will tend to have a large volume of applicants simply because it is London and just there's millions of people living there. This bootcamp is for Liverpool, Bristol, and Leeds. So we will probably expect around 10 applications minimum per space. So we'd expect around 250 applications minimum for 25 spaces. So that's why I do encourage people to be engaged and active, and please be responsive if we reach out to you about anything. Otherwise, I really look forward to seeing you on a group task and an interview call later this week or next week. It's been lovely to spend the last hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes with you. If you do have any additional questions, you can reach out to the IT support program at generation.org email address, or when you are on the group task and interview, we'll have a time then to do any questions you might have. Otherwise, hope you have a great afternoon, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.